Welcome to Some Guy's Garage. I had a bit of an impulse purchase at Home Depot the other day. They had these Dewalt Multi Tacker Stapler things on for 30 bucks, and I was like, what the heck? I have some old Arrow staplers that they work, but it looked kind of cool and could do some other types of staples, so I decided to pick one up. Problem is, I got home and I read the reviews, and the reviews are not good. So almost everybody says this thing jams like every 5 staples that you run, and rather than returning it, I figured I'd check it out for myself and see what's what. Does it actually suck or is it okay? I guess we'll find out together today. So if you're not familiar with this, it's a 5-in-1 multi-tacker, the DWHTTR510, whatever that's supposed to mean. If anybody ever figures out how Dewalt comes up with their model numbers, let me know, because it is the most confusing system ever. Other than, I guess, the first letters usually have some sort of meaning for their drills and impacts and stuff, but the numbers never have any meaning. So apparently this has a high and low power mode, can do wire guide something. I guess there's something up here that help guide in wires, because it can do a cable staple, heavy duty, light duty, narrow flat, and an 18 gauge brad. I picked up a couple packs of staples to go with this so we can try a few of those, but not all of them, so we'll have a look at that. But otherwise, it is just a staple gun. So let me open this up and we'll take a look. Cue the normal rant about this style packaging. It sucks, we all hate it. Stop doing this, companies. Find a better way. All right, so taking a look, it has a belt clip of some sort. This looks to be the high and low power switch here behind this. I'm not too sure what that's for. It's interesting. Some bit of rubberized on the grips, but it's not too thick. And then there is another slide thing here, maybe. Looks like it has arrows. Doesn't seem to move. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, just take some force and move, I guess, between the different types of staples. Let's see what that does when I slide that back down here. Geez, that's tight. Already not looking good for this thing. So sliding that back down, I think it's adjusting something here in the head. No, nothing there. Not too sure what that does. And the packaging, I just had a look, doesn't say anything about it either. So no idea what that is exactly for. And then to get staples in, yeah, just a push and slide there. It does look like you're probably supposed to set it to one of these 2 modes depending on what you're doing, whether it's this style or this style. I guess that's what's going on. Looks like there is a sight window here as well to see how many staples you have left when you get towards the end. But let's load some staples up and see how this thing works. So I've got a few different styles of staples here to play with. We've got the typical T50. These are your normal staples that every staple gun usually runs. Some T25, which are these like loop-sized things. These are in 9/16, which is the max size of this type of staple that it can take. I tried to get large ones just so we can see how it drives them. And then we've got some 3/8, whatever these ones are, JT21 staples as well. So I guess these are more for like fabrics and things like that, kind of a lighter duty staple. But we'll start with the T50s because that's what everybody's used to here. Grab a brand new sleeve, slide it in the slot here. I assume it goes on both sides of the rail. Yep. Slide it closed. Okay. Yep. We can see it's kind of like a fuel gauge. It's got red and black there. And I'm going to assume that it needs to be set on that one. So we're going to push this thing back down here. And we'll just grab a chunk of wood here and see how it does. No fire there. Again, a no fire. Put it on plus mode. So obviously the head's going, but the staples are not actually firing. It's really not looking good for this thing. Okay, we'll try putting this back up to the other setting then. Try there. Nope. Okay. Did I not load the staples correctly? Okay. Try it that way. So maybe you load in the bottom, not on the top of that rail. You know, you can actually see the staples through there. So that's probably just me not knowing how to load it. Most staple guns, let me grab my other one here. So good old-fashioned staple gun here. Usually you slide them down on top of the rails here, and then this comes in behind it to push them forward. So it's weird to load it from the bottom. So interesting to see that. Let's see if it fires now at least. Yeah, there we go. So we actually fired. Do a bunch of them here. Well, it made it past 5 staples. I'm going to try putting this back on that other mode and see what it does there, if it makes any difference. No, not really. No idea why that exists. Yeah, doesn't seem to have an effect. Let's try it on the lower power setting then as well. Oh, you can feel with the handle just how much less pressure that is. And you can see the staples aren't driven as deep. So that's kind of a nice feature. If you don't want to drive the staples really tight to something, potentially you're using a soft material, you don't have to drive them as hard. But so far so good. So those staples fire all right. Let's try one of the other kinds. So we'll open it up again here, drop those out. And we'll try the T25 here. So these are these little loops that you would normally use for cable, something like a cable TV cable or whatever. You can do it with that. So let's see how these fit. There's these kind of like red guides down in here that I think it's supposed to sit into if you get them pushed in right. Yeah, there we go. So that is loaded. Assuming that is a setting for the type of staple, we're on the upper one. I'm gonna go with a loose setting to start. Let's drive a couple of these. Yeah, that kind of just mangled it. Let's try another one here. Mangled again. Go lighter. Not great. Hasn't jammed. Let's try putting a piece of something underneath, a cable that we might staple. Okay, not quite a cable, but a piece of O-ring here. There should be a guide. I guess that's what that's all about. Let's see how that works. Yeah, that's on the tight side, and you can see it bent the staple over again. Not great, and that is on the low power setting. I bet you on the high power setting this is just going to be a disaster. Yeah, it just mangles the cable even more. Trying it on the lower setting, maybe that makes a difference. Let's see what it does here. Nope, still mangles it. Like the only way, even if I just, like I don't even put any pressure on it, I literally just squeeze here. It kind of sort of works, but not great. Still hasn't jammed though. Let's try another type of staple again here. So pop those out, and we'll pop in these small JT21 staples here. So these are just really light duty staples, not the heavier. You can see kind of just the thickness, maybe you feel it more in your hands, but the thickness of the metal and the staple width is a lot different. So we'll pop these ones in. Close it up. We're again on the low setting here and forward. Don't know what it does, but let's try firing one of these. Yeah, that goes okay. Not bad. Fires those all right. They go in flush. I'm gonna try putting it on a high power setting, see what it does. Mangles it a little more. You don't need that much power to drive that size staple, so yeah, works for those. So I just want to try the T25 staples again. I loaded them back up in here, so you can see they're in there again, and just see if I can get it to fire properly. You'll notice when they talked about a cable guide, you can see as you squeeze the trigger here, hopefully I can get that in close enough, that the kind of strike hammer or whatever kind of fades away there and gives you that notch. So that's what's actually lining up when you try and get on top of a cable. So it should be in this mode, one would think. And let's fire again here, we're on the gentle mode again. I'm just gonna try another block of wood. Maybe, I don't know if it'll be a little softer or what, but just to see how that goes. It might be a little better. No, it still just mangles the staples, no matter what you do with that. So let's try into a piece of plywood instead. Nope, same thing here. Plywood I would have expected is harder anyway, but doesn't quite work with those type of staples. Other types it seemed to do okay, and I haven't had a jam yet, so that's always good. So anyway, my final thoughts on the Dewalt Multi Tacker. Works okay with normal staples, obviously doesn't work very well with the cable staples, which is unfortunate because that could be a really handy thing to have. Ergonomically, the trigger effort and handle feel fine, so that's kind of nice. Like it is rubberized, and it's definitely nicer than the the old metal clunky ones here that aren't exactly soft. This is plastic with metal inside though, so we'll see how that holds up long term. Overall, I'd say it's a solid meh out of 10. It's all right, it works, at least for me. I haven't had any jams, but given the reviews, I'm not holding out much hope. And even just looking at the mechanism here and the way it moves, it doesn't seem nearly as sturdy as those old Arrow staplers that I've always been using. Anyway, that's my first look at the Dewalt Multi Tacker. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you aren't already subscribed, please consider it. And as always, thanks for watching.